Hello to everyone in TV land. This is Focus on Liberia online television, and you are listening to the Focus on Liberia Daily News with Gwendolyn Dorado. I bring you the headlines. Former Chief Justice families cry for justice and freedom as Supreme Court opens. Police investigating mysterious trucking theft of rice and other commodities from Freeport. Warlords warn to desist from threatening to disrupt the peace over establishment of war and economic crimes court. Supreme Court halts acting EPA director from carrying out functions. And NAFA arrests illegal foreign fishermen in Maryland. Those were the headlines. I now bring you the news in details. The family of former Chief Justice Gloria Musu-Scott has expressed hope for justice and freedom for their family members as they anticipate hearing into an appeal filed against the guilty verdict and judgment of Criminal Court A. Former Chief Justice Scott and 3 members of her family are remanded at the Monrovia Central Prison awaiting hearing into an appeal filed before the Supreme Court following a guilty verdict handed down by what the family calls a compromised jury at the Criminal Court A in November last year. Former Development Superintendent of Maryland County, who is the spokesman of the family, Nathaniel Tow, has termed the indictment and subsequent guilty verdict against the former Chief Justice and family members as product of political manipulation and machination. Speaking on the local radio, Mr. Toll said the shady events that characterized the investigation, trial, and the post-verdict startling revelations are enough proof that Justice Scott was a target persecution and not necessarily persecution. Mr. Toll's assertions are similar to a number of public appearances in which he has repeatedly drawn attention to strange happenings around Councillor Scott and her family before, during, and after the much talked about trial in the lower court. As he described as shameful, the current fight over money by Justice Scott's persecutors, including Mansurado County Attorney Swahilu Sisei, Councillors Bobby Livingstone, Adolphus Kanwa, and Livette Golds, among others. The Liberian police is said to be investigating how several truckloads of 44 containers mysteriously trucked out of the Freeport of Monrovia the past few days. Police Director Gregory Coleman confirmed to Front Page Africa on Saturday that all drivers of a most recent incident involving stolen rice have been arrested and are currently undergoing police investigation. Sekou Dukle, Managing Director of the NPA, told Front Page Africa that the incident took place 3 days ago and further explained that aid is aware of an ongoing investigation regarding a consignment of rice that was trucked out of its facility by some unscrupulous individuals, and the rice issue is just one of the many being unearthed by the new port management. Front Page Africa has been informed that the investigation into the theft at the NPA has yielded several significant finds and outcomes. Two former leaders of the Press Union of Liberia residing in the United States are warning former Liberian warlords to immediately desist from making threatening statements that have the propensity to disrupt the peace and stability of post-war Liberia. In a press statement issued over the weekend, Mr. Emmanuel D. Abalo and Gabriel I.H. Williams said they are alarmed by recent threats made by ex-warlords Prince White Johnson and Thomas Yaya Nimne to disrupt Liberia's hard-earned peace and stability. The adoption of the resolution by the House of Representatives on March 5th signifies a watershed moment to bring about justice, accountability, and reconciliation in Liberia, which has been ravaged by decades of civil upheavals, rampant corruption, and gross abuse power. The two former leaders of the PUL are calling on the people of Neba and Grangeda counties, especially the young ones, to stay away from the drumbeats that they won't defend them and have nothing to gain, but to have everything to lose by following warlords who have brought death and destruction upon the country by self-aggrandizement. The House Speaker of the House of Representatives, J. Fonati Kofa, and those who sponsored the World and Economic Crimes Court resolution were highly commended on the major historical milestone that the court will be established in Liberia and not outside the country, for the Liberian people to be closely engaged with the process. Mr. Abalo and Williams reaffirmed their support for the establishment of the WECC and stand prepared to help create public awareness regarding the significance of the court to ensure sustainable peace and progress in Liberia. The Supreme Court of Liberia on Friday issued a writ of prohibition on the acting executive director of the Environmental Protection Agency of Liberia, Dr. Emmanuel Yuri Yakbawulo, from carrying out functions of the EPA pending a conference with the Associate Justice Yusuf Kaba. The court order comes in the wake of a complaint filed by former acting executive director of the EPA, Professor Wilson Tape, in which Dr. Yakbawulo is cited on Tuesday, March 12 at 1 p.m. Meanwhile, Part 3, Section 16, Counts 1 and 2 of the Act that created by the EPA, which leads to the appointment of an executive director, states that there should be an executive director who is a person with wide environmental knowledge and recognized commitment to sustainable management of the environment, appointed by the President, recommended by the Council, except that the President may appoint an interim executive director pending the formation of the council. The executive director should serve for a period of 7 years. Sources have hinted that Mr. Tape is requesting to be reinstated as EPA boss or be paid by the government of Liberia his benefits for the remaining years of his tenure as executive director. Through the help of joint security forces, the National Fisheries and Agriculture Authority NAFA has arrested 8 migrant fishermen on the seashore of Harper, Maryland County who are said to come from Ghana and Ivory Coast for allegedly fishing on Liberia waters when residents along the Liberia's coastal areas have repeatedly complained of the illegal activities, prompting a recent joint security response. The suspects were arrested on March 9th in an operation led by NAFA Associate Director of Marine Fisheries and Agriculture, Mr. Anthony A. Yoki, and the Joint Security. The NAFA director disclosed that their mission in the Southeast is to ensure compliance with the fisheries sector and sustainable management of the marine environment law. He placed the cash value of the confiscated fish at 60,000 Liberian dollars. He disclosed that the arrested foreign fishermen are in the custody of the Liberia immigration officers and would be penalized for illegal fishing and violation of the Liberia fishery law. That does it for the Focus on Liberia Daily News. I bring you a recap of the headlines. Former Chief Justice families cry for justice and freedom as Supreme Court opens. Police investigating mysterious trucking, theft of rice and other commodities from Freeport. Warlords warned the deceased from threatening to disrupt the peace over establishment of War and Economic Crimes Court. Supreme Court halts acting EPA director from carrying out functions. And NAFA arrests illegal foreign fishermen in Maryland. On behalf of the management and staff of Focus on Liberia, many thanks to our listeners and viewers. We urge that you keep following us and share our videos. My name is Gwendolyn Dorado. I presented.